Okay, we're continuing our discussion here of what we can do with grouped worksheets. One of the things I should have pointed out in a previous video is that it's super important that when your worksheets are grouped and you're trying to do something to each of them that basically like when we created those formulas in the past video, it's important that they're set up basically the same way, because if they weren't, then obviously it wouldn't make sense, right? You couldn't create a formula for one worksheet and have it be for all of them if they weren't set up the same way. So it's sort of an important distinction to make. So in this case here, what we want to do is we see we have a north, a south, and a central, but we want to insert a new row for a west recreation area. And so we're going to see if we have our worksheets grouped, what happens when we insert a row. And then we need to enter data, and obviously when we're entering data, it's going to be different for each sheet, so then we're going to need to ungroup each of those. So again, we're going to right-click, and this time I'm going to do August, because I'm just pointing out here that it really doesn't matter which one you're clicked on when you do select all sheets here, because they're all selected, so what's going to be done is going to be done to each of them. And now if I want to insert a row, we've learned this previously, one of the ways I could do it, I'm going to right-click here, row 7, I'm going to pick Insert. So it's going to push down row 8, what was row 7 down into 8, and it's going to open up row 7. And I'm going to type here West Recreation Area. Okay. Now I can't put the numbers in, because if I put the numbers in here for what I think is August, it's going to be putting it in July and September. So I need to go to each of the sheets separately to input their data. So I go to July, I see that sure enough that row was inserted, and I can now input the data for July. So I'm just going to simply go here, and because my worksheets aren't grouped, it's not an issue. It's just going to allow me to put these numbers in. So what I'm going to do is pause the video so that you don't have to sit here and watch me do each of these. Okay, so I just entered all the figures for West Recreation Area for July, August, and September, and now I'm going to regroup the sheets. So I'm going to select all sheets. And we know already that using relative cell reference, we can fill this formula down. And the idea here is we're going to do it in one sheet and have it be done for all of them. So I'm going to fill that down, which means that it's now been done in each of the sheets. Okay. And I'm going to select the range here of B5 through F5. And then I'm going to hold down my control key, and I'm going to do B9 through F9. And I'm going to apply the cell style of comma 0, which means it's going to put comma in for those cells with 0 decimal places. Okay, and then if I wanted to, I could format these as well. Basically, the idea is that it would be applied to each of those. I am going to apply the total cell style here as well. So I'm going to go to cell style and go up and pick total. So we know that does the underline and then the double underline underneath it. And if I click each of these sheets, I'll see that that same format was applied to each of these sheets, right? Just by doing it in the one. So that shows that we can basically use the grouping of the sheets to both insert rows and format, fill formulas and cell styles.